We were talking about it before this interview, but Francis Marion has come up a time or two this season, already a fourth meeting with him this year. Before we get into the matchup with the Patriots, let's just go back and talk about the conference tournament. And let's start with what it means to be back-to-back co-regular season and then conference tournament champions.
Well, it's kind of hard to put into words because it's just so much fun watching the guys, celebrate and cut down nets, and it's a kind of a snapshot in time, but it's the result of months and months of work by those guys and growing as a team, and it's neat to see them get rewarded like that.
What did you think were some of the biggest moments in the games on Saturday and Sunday against Francis Marion and then against Clayton State? Kind of some points in those games where you really felt like your team got some traction that helped them get those victories.
Well, going back to the Francis Marion game, I thought about midway through the second half, our defense went to a little different level. The sense of urgency went up, and I think that kind of helped us pull away a little bit, even though I think the game was a lot closer than the final margin and a lot more, challenging than you just look at the score. But our defense got better as the game went on. And then, the Clayton State game was just back and forth. And I'd tell you a real critical part of the game is when we got in foul trouble and Jay Hicks stepped in and gave us maybe 4 or 5 minutes in each half to just buy us time to get, to the second half with JB in foul trouble and, Watts. We had some guys in foul trouble, but it was a real team effort.
With that, how do you feel about your team's depth right now? We've always talked about kind of the feeling like you have more than 5 starters, but I'm assuming now heading into an NCAA tournament style play where you guys could have multiple games and very little rest time, that could be a huge key for your team.
Yeah, depth is sometimes overrated a little bit, because the timeouts are so long, and a game like the other day when you get in foul trouble, it does really show up that, hey, you got to have those guys ready to play. But it was kind of unusual because, our first conference tournament game, they really let us play. There was each team only shot about 6 or 8 free throws, and then the next couple games there were a lot more fouls called. So you got to adjust to the officiating game in and game out, and it's nice to have that depth when you need it.
When we talk about, before we get in just directly to Francis Marion, your guys' first matchup, let's talk about this whole Southeast region. As you look at the teams 1 through 8, I think there's a lot of people around the country that have said that maybe this region would be the favorite after people get through to have a really good shot in South Dakota. What do you think of the region when you take a look at it as a whole?
Well, I know there's no other region with the number 1 and number 2, or I don't know if Queens is still 2 or 3, but team in the country. So, and then, with Clayton, Francis Marion, the Braves, and, some of the other teams, King and Carson Newman's had a fantastic year. So, Lees McCrae's had a great year. So it's a tough region top to bottom.
When you look at having to face a team for a 4th time in a season, what are some of the challenges in particular that just that situation alone provides when you see a team so many times during a year?
Well, in some ways it makes scouting report a little bit easier. Sometimes when you play a brand new opponent, you're scrambling, gathering information and trying to get familiar with personnel. And so that part's a little bit easier, but at the same token, they know us just as well as we know them. So, I think it just puts a premium on your defense, your rebounding, your execution, because they know what's coming, whether you're running zone offense, man offense, they're going to take away sometimes your first, second option. So you got to really be good with your execution, and it's going to come down to, just doing what we do. There's not major changes this time of year. It's just trying to do everything a little bit better.
In the very last meeting with Francis Marion in the semifinals of the PBC tournament, Brandon Watts got the defensive draw against Dietrich Browning, held him to a season-low 11 points. He kind of joked after the game that he's not going to be able to hold him to under 5 to keep him from the Peach Belt record in this next game that's upcoming. But what was it about Brandon's defensive performance? What did he do that you saw that allowed him to kind of really effectively defend Dietrich?
Well, I think Brandon's one of the best defenders in the league. We got Akia, Micah, other guys. JB's gotten better, but Brandon, I think, consistently since he's been here, he's often gotten the toughest assignment. for the other team's perimeter player, and he's always accepted, welcomed that challenge. And when you got a guy that has that desire to play defense, and is the length that he has, I think that can bother people as well. You're not going to, and Dietrich is not a one-dimensional player. Even if, he has a game where maybe doesn't score 25 or 30, he still gets his teammates involved. He plays defense. He's the total package. But, Brandon did do a good job of making it challenging on him. But you got to, when you play Francis Marion, you cannot sleep on those other guys because they can all score in different ways. They can really shoot it. They're good in transition. Big Judah's a load inside. And, they got some guys that come off the bench that contribute as well. So, we got to guard their team. Obviously, we're going to focus on Dietrich, but their whole team is very capable.
You've had a multitude of experience in the NCAA tournament at both the Division I and Division II levels. What do you take from the experience of just going and kind of not so much the game planning, but just the preparation of the days, the schedules, how travel works, how to get a team prepared? What do you take from prior experiences that you kind of use when you prepare for a tournament like this?
Well, I think we're fortunate with the timing to be able to give our guys a little time off to rest, heal some bumps and bruises. You don't get that kind of time throughout the conference season. It just comes so fast. So this was kind of rare. So you got to take advantage of that time to rest and then, getting back to work and getting refocused and really trying to eliminate distractions. There's a lot of attention, a lot of friends, family that are texting you, calling you, coming to see you play. And, ultimately you got to try to filter out a lot of that. And, the family members and friends will understand that you're where our focus needs to be. And fortunately, we've got a team that's, been on the road, been in different situations and been able to focus and compete at a high level. It's just a little more challenging this time of year because there's a lot of attention on our team and every team. So, the other teams are dealing with the same challenges we are, but that's something that our guys have to understand that where our focus needs to be.
And when you talk about the families and friends, the community support, it was a big group of Braves down in just outside of Atlanta for the Peach Belt Conference Tournament. So what can you say about that support that you guys have received for these last couple of years and kind of throughout your time at UNCP?
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. I mean, it felt like a home game, with band, Mickey and the Maniacs, and a lot of the family and friends that made the trip. Micah's might have had 25 people there. He lives right down the road, so we had a lot of family and friends there as well. So it was a great environment, and throughout the year, our fans have been amazing in supporting our team during games, just in the community on campus. And, our guys have really appreciated that, and it motivates us to try to work hard and make them proud.
And the last thing to leave you with, Coach, when we talk about the fact that you guys have seen the tape on Francis Marion so many times, the guys know, who they're going up against. What's the mantra this week with the team? What's the kind of stuff that they're hearing in preparation for the NCAA tournament? What's that overarching message for the guys heading into this?
Well, kind of like going into a conference tournament. It's a brand new season. I mean, there's, we started the year, you have 4 opportunities to win championships: your regular season, the conference tournament, regional, and ultimately the national championship. And this is a brand new 8-team, 3-game, hopefully tournament. If you're good enough to get past the first one, you have a chance to advance. And I think that the whole key for our guys right now is focusing on the next play, the next drill and practice. Not feel good about what we've done, and we wanted them to enjoy and celebrate the regular season and the conference tournament, but now it's a clean slate, and let's get back to work. And our guys have done a good job, I think, of flipping that switch, of enjoying it, having fun, but also knowing when it's time to get back to work. And that's the fun this time of year is the excitement, but ultimately, guys growing together, and they've been a lot of fun to work with, and they've enjoyed competing together. So if we can stay in the moment, I think we have a chance to go up to Tennessee and have some fun.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to seeing you guys there in Harrogate this upcoming weekend, and good luck, and it'll be a lot of fun to watch you play.
Thanks, Trevor.